Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video in between the first and second period of the two early games, and just taking a break from all the videos I've been pre-recording before I go on vacation. There's a lot. Anyways, I say that with a smirk, like, you know, it's a lot, just to make sure I don't have to stress about anything while I'm on holiday. I can be like, yep, there's lots of content to keep people active and happy and all that. Whatever team you cheer for, there will be a video on that team over the next week. So, starting off with Brendan Gallagher. So Brendan Gallagher did get suspended. Now, if it's more than 5 games, it has to be an in-person suspension. They went with the 5 games, and it avoids the in-person suspension. But that's hefty. That's a hefty suspension for Gallagher for the head hit on Pellick. So people wanted more than that, and I know there's people who are going to want more than that. They go with 5. That is a pretty decent suspension. That's a lot of money for him too, because keep in mind that you lose then 5 games worth of your pay. His cap hit $6.5 million, so that's a good chunk of money there that he's going to lose due to the suspension that he gets today. So we'll see with Gallagher. The next time that they play the Islanders should be very interesting. I'll just put it that way. All right, Kesselring has been fined for a cross-check on Crozier. That game between Arizona and Tampa last night, I'm honestly kind of surprised that's all that comes out of that, because it was pretty testy towards the end there. Kesselring, decent defenseman, and Crozier kind of coming out of nowhere. One of the many for Tampa Bay that does so. I don't know. I assume Tampa Bay's got just like a farm where they've got a bunch of players, because these guys are ones that you don't really hear much about, and all of a sudden they're in the NHL and they're pretty good. So Kesselring gets fined. I'm not putting the amount on the board because it's not a very high amount. And then people talk about how the amount's tiny. It is. It's not much, and it's the maximum allowable under the CBA. We know the line. We've seen the meme. Anyways, so yeah. There's a couple of signings to talk about. First off, Kevin Gravel, who's a depth defenseman in the Nashville Predators organization. He signs a 2-year extension worth $775,000 per season, so league minimum for the next 2 years. Following this one. So for Gravel, that's certainty in his money, certainty in his contract, and good on him. Again, decent depth defenseman. We know that if your team's going to go anywhere in the playoffs, you're going to need that depth on your blue line, because defensemen tend to get hurt in the playoffs. So they get hurt anyways, right? So that depth is really important. They keep Gravel for 2 more years past this one. Nick Bonino did clear waivers today, so Rangers don't lose him on waivers. I'm not entirely surprised that Nick Bonino clears. We'll see how long he's down for, or how long it takes before the Rangers bring him back up. Also, the other thing to keep in mind is once a player has cleared waivers, if you trade him, the team that picks him up does not have to waive him again, so they can keep him at their AHL affiliate. So, yeah, this definitely might mean that maybe Bonino becomes a more attractive trade target for a team. So, yeah, we'll see. Zach Parise has signed with the Colorado Avalanche. 1-year contract worth $825,000. I will be honest, when I saw Parise signs, I assumed it was the Islanders. Right away, I was like, oh, Lou got it done. I can't prove that Lou is sad somewhere right now, but would I be surprised? Not really, no. The plan was that there was a spot on the Islanders. A couple of times I've read Lou Lamoriello saying, as soon as Zach Parise's ready to come back, we've got a spot for him whenever he wants to sign, but he has opted to sign with the Colorado Avalanche. He has lost a step speed-wise, but Colorado's got enough speed that they can compensate for the fact that Parise's not as fleet of foot as he once was. But he's still pretty good around the net. You're getting the experience. You're getting the leadership as well. I think this is a solid signing for a Colorado team, and it's a way to add depth without giving up any assets. Just the cap space, right? So you've added a veteran forward. You haven't needed to trade for it. And Parise's one that I would imagine there were other teams interested. I know the Islanders were the obvious destination, but yeah, good on Parise, and we'll see how he does with Colorado. I would expect, a few goals and some points, and probably I would think 3rd line time. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would excel with the 4th line spot, but we shall see in Colorado where he ends up. They're a pretty talented bunch on the Avs. Corey Perry is set to debut tomorrow for the Edmonton Oilers. It looks like that's going to happen. They're at home against Nashville. And, of course, they're looking to win their 16th in a row. So we'll see whether or not they get that 16th straight win. Nashville's a team above the playoff line, so Nashville's capable of pulling off wins here and there. And they're coming off that win last night against Minnesota, so we'll find out. It's a very busy day tomorrow in the National Hockey League. I've still got some more video stuff to record between now and when I leave. Again, to post to the channel before or while I'm on vacation. But and this is keeping in mind I'm still going to be recording while I'm on vacation, just not nearly as much. So we'll see how Perry does with the Edmonton Oilers and where he slots in their lineup. But Perry looked good in Chicago. I don't think he's going to get as much ice time with the Oilers as he did with Chicago, but if he brings that same energy, I think Oiler fans are going to be pretty happy. Jets news for tomorrow's game against Toronto. Both Morrissey and Velarde are seen as game time decisions. This is fantastic news, considering Morrissey exiting the game last night and not coming back. The fact that he's a game time decision means at worst he's day to day. And because it did not look good when he left the ice. So that's good news if you're a Jets fan. The bad news being Mark Scheifele will not play. But again, there's a good news portion with that in that they've been pretty good when Scheifele's been out. So for the Winnipeg Jets, they're just going through what they're going through. But it sounds like both Morrissey and Velarde could play. Again, after tomorrow, I would think Winnipeg's on break. I haven't looked to see which teams are playing after tomorrow night. But most teams, it seems, are going to be going on their week break starting tomorrow. It's a week to 10 days for these teams. And so, yeah, everything gets a little bit easier after tomorrow night, which is why we planned our vacation when we did. I told, when we were planning, I was like, yeah, well, we'll just go out on the Sunday because there's only 2 games that day and there's only 6 games during the week that follows. So, the Jets will be without Scheifele, but for a lot of teams, they'll have a chance to get healthy over the next week, or at least healthier. One note here as well, Wayne Simmonds, and there does need to be a career video on Wayne Simmonds. Very interesting career indeed. Admitting that he's done. Now, he hasn't officially retired, but he's announcing, this is the end of the road for me as a National Hockey League player. I have nothing but respect for Wayne Simmonds. He was a good power forward at his peak. Then he ended up developing into a pretty solid bottom 6 forward as well. He was never shy of the physical game, and he had pretty good hands early in his career too. So, Simmonds, there will be a career video. We'll see if I can somehow get that pushed into either tomorrow or Sunday. And interestingly enough, too, some of the pre-recording I've been doing, some of those a couple of those videos will drop tomorrow, because I felt like, Saturday I don't usually have much time to make video content, and might as well drop a couple tomorrow while there's a bunch of games going on. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you've not done so already. But thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.